to have Tom Brown from your virtual consult here, an awesome supporter and sponsor of Super Dentist Boost, and he is going to share with us how does the power of video, Tom, help build patient trust?
Well, Paul, first of all, you have to figure out where patient trust is at.
Right.
And if you use case acceptance as a measure, an indicator of that, it's kind of low.
Gotcha.
Because across the country, we're at 41% case acceptance.
Wow.
So think about that. You're a doctor, you're prescribing different treatments, and less than half the time the patient is moving forward with them.
Wow.
Why is that? That's what we'll get to.
Gotcha.
When you're using virtual consults, that can actually change, not just incrementally, but dramatically. So a patient that goes through a virtual consult process actually increases the case acceptance to a whopping 89%.
Wow. What's the mechanism? I mean, just in a broad picture way, we have this low trust factor, and then how is this magical video thing? What does that do to the person? Are they paying more attention? Are they absorbing it on their own time? Tell us more about that.
Well, in order to do that, you've got to start with what is causing that low case acceptance, right? And it's not that the doctor is doing anything wrong, it's just that the patient isn't in the right mental state to actually make a decision like that. So think about this. If you walked into a store and you had a bunch of fear, are you going to walk out of that store in less than an hour and spend $5,000 to $10,000?
Right.
You don't. So picture a patient walking into your practice, Paul, for the first time. They don't know you yet.
Yeah.
And what are they thinking? They're thinking, there's something wrong with my mouth, right? Not my oral hygiene, because that's not how they think.
Right.
Something's wrong with my mouth. I don't know what it is. Secondly, can it be fixed?
Right.
Third, if it can be fixed, what is it going to take to fix it? What am I going to have to go through?
Right.
How many times do I have to come in, right? Fourth, how much is it going to cost? Do I have the financial resources to actually fix this in my life?
Yeah.
Or is it going to put my family in the,
I mean, it's a lot of decisions to make in just a short time frame without also having a relationship with the person they're talking to.
Exactly, because that last fear, Paul, is they're afraid of the big scary doctor like you, right?
Yeah.
So they're not really afraid once they get to meet you, but until they've met you, those are all the things going through their mind when they enter your practice.
Yeah.
So now they're not going to make that decision 5 or 10 minutes later. And why? Because of what you just said. Relationships are a process. You can't fast track relationships and try to make that happen in the next 15 to 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So what video consults does is it gives the patient an opportunity to get to know you and address those fears before they even come into your practice. So think about this. They come to your website or your social media page or wherever, and they're directed to a welcome video with Paul Goodman.
Yeah, I just made one the other day. It was super easy. And a lot of times if you're a dentist out there, saying the same thing over and over and over and over again can be exhausting. So when you can capture it in a video to get people to orient themselves to your face and what you're doing, it's just really, truly awesome.
Yeah. And what you discover during that, and you do it naturally, but the more organic the video is, the better it is. If it's a video production, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Because really the patient just wants to get to know you as a person. And if you start with that welcome video and invite them to, hey, what do you think you need to have done? Bring them to a treatment funnel. Let's say they pick aligners. Now they're going to get a second video. This is important because this is their second meeting with you, even though they haven't met with you. And you're not going to get really clinical, but you're going to share with them that you've worked with a lot of patients on aligners per se. And you're also going to introduce them and say, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about your story? Maybe take some pictures, send them in, and then I can send you a personalized video consult, and we're going to move forward with that.
The telecommunication is just here to stay. I mean, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, we have a dentist in our practice that does a lot of oral surgery. He's a general dentist. He does a lot of his consults that way, and it's just a valuable way to save time, save money, make it more convenient for the patient, and not have to get a whole chair set up all the time to have some of these conversations.
Exactly. And so take yourself back to that first patient who walked through your practice that had all those fears. Once they've gone through these 3 videos, they know what's wrong, they know it can be fixed, they know what it's going to take, they know what it's going to cost, and you're not the big scary doctor, right? You're Paul Goodman. I'd like to have a drink with you, right?
You see at this event, you see this day, people can be like, you're the person from the Facebook group, and they're excited to see someone whose face they've seen before. It's just a human element of just orienting your mind to who this person is. And I think it's just such a valuable part of how dental practices can seem cool, can seem up to date, can decrease their own stress, and you don't have to be a video expert to do this, right?
And you should not.
That's even better sometimes.
You should not be.
Yeah.
It should be really organic. If you make a mistake, it's no big deal because you're a human being, and that's what you want to kind of convey, because then when they walk in your practice, this is the fourth time they're seeing you. All those fears have been knocked down, and now they're just having a collaborative conversation about their oral health, because they're not going to book an appointment with you unless they want to move forward. And that's where that jump comes in from 41 to 89%. Now you might ask, hey, are there some patients that don't want to come in after they see those videos? Absolutely,
Right.
Because they're not ready to do that.
Yeah, you've
But isn't that
self-selected
better?
them. Yeah. One of the things I think dentists, no just sometimes means not yet a lot of times for our
Yeah.
patients, because their tooth isn't going to grow back from an implant, or their teeth aren't magically going to be straightened, and they just need time to process this. And it just seems like an awesome way through your virtual consult to give this scalability to stuff that would have taken a lot of effort on the dental office. So it's literally as easy as use your cell phone, upload these videos, put it on your website. What kind of impact, before we wrap up, what kind of impact has this had on some of your clients that have been using it? What have they reported back to you?
Not just the case acceptance jumping to 89%, which alone would be great, but they feel like they're vibing with patients a little bit more, because the fears aren't there, so they're having a more natural conversation, and so they're enjoying their lives better.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. In the dental office, so many things go off script. Nothing goes wrong, just off script. That when you can just get things that are morale building, like getting to know someone, building relationships, is awesome. So I really appreciate you sharing what your virtual consult can do, Tom. You do so many great things for this dental world, so I want to thank you for being a fun part of what we do.
Well, thank you, Paul. It's always fun hanging out with you.
Awesome, Tom.